I don't know what happened with my computer. It said there's insufficient disk space for the recording. So anywho, I'm recording on the cloud now. So we've got about 10 more minutes. Anything else on people's minds?
Has anyone else been doing any vernal pool monitoring through the vernal pool program?
I'm not aware.
I've been noticing them. I couldn't participate earlier this year, but there's a lot more of them. Are you participating in it?
I am, and you know, the kind of the nature of a vernal pool is it's around in the spring, but then it tends to disappear in the summer. But what I've noticed, I've got two that I've adopted, and they're both chock full of water still because of the wetness of the summer and the fall. Kind of interesting. One of them, I wear hip boots when I do my monitoring, and I was like mid-thigh in one of them, and this one is only like 60 feet across, so it's kind of amazing.
Wow, where is it? Where are yours located?
In the Central Park uplands. It's kind of behind my neighborhood, so it's easy to get to.
And when you say monitoring, what are you doing? Keeping track of how high it is, and what does that mean?
Well, you look for indicator species. There's a whole GIS-based database that where they monitor it statewide through Michigan Natural Features Inventory.
Wow.
And the township has kits available if you contact Emma that provide all the materials that you not all the materials, but some of the materials that you could use to adopt a pond or a pool rather. There's also trading available to how to identify the indicator species and other species found. You do things like the amount of deadfall in the vernal pools, the amount of canopy cover over them. When they are dry, you look at the soil types. It's a variety of information, and they're very important ecological mini ecologies.
For sure.
So we're trying to keep track of them.
Yes, Yuman Lee, who is on Land Preservation Advisory Board, she's the one who does the training for the vernal pool. So the vernal pool training, I think, will happen, I think maybe February-ish again next year. So I think there's like 3 classes you can take, and it tells you how to, what to look for, how to do the whole thing. I took the class last year. It was a lot of fun. I'm assuming you've probably been doing it for a while, Bruce.
It was my first year.
Okay. So I'm hoping to grow that. I mean, it's really great. And you can see how it, you could speak more about it, the impact of the ecosystem. Do you want to speak about that a little bit?
Well, I don't know if there's much more I could say. There's important species that are found only in vernal pools. There's no large predators that are present the entire time.
Like what? What's a large predator in a vernal pool?
Well, fish, or in a vernal pool, probably the frogs and salamanders are the largest predators.
Okay.
Yeah, and some like think about like a salamander, they tend to, I think, return, to generally the same spot to breed. And so without that vernal pool there, they might not be able to travel far, they'd have to travel significantly farther to find a water source to breed in and to lay their eggs in. So I think, when I think of vernal pools, I always think of salamanders. I feel like that's just kind of a large organism, right, that we've probably seen. And definitely like When I think of vernal pool, I think of like fairy shrimp, which are really cool because those are in vernal pools and they just look cool. And then salamanders, because salamanders are cool. And who doesn't like a frog? I like frogs.
Mhm.
The Vernal Pool Partnership also has an annual conference. So the MyCore conference is actually today. I just saw it. And then the Vernal Pool Partnership, it looks like they're having an annual meeting, which looks like it's kind of broadly about vernal pools on December
Fantastic.
7th.
Yeah.
So.
I've already got my ticket for that.
Yeah, I went last year. It was really quite interesting.
Is there a way to find out where, like, is there a green map of vernal pools in the area?
There is. You can, it's that GIS system that I was telling you about.
Okay.
If you looked at, just Google Vernal Pool Patrol,
Okay,
and I believe you can look at the map without actually having an ARC info ID and password.
Is that the map that's on the Vernal Pool Partnership website, Bruce?
Yes.
Like, okay, I can throw a link really quick in the chat because I just found it.
And you can, it covers the entire state, and you can zoom into your particular area.
wow, that's cool. Okay, thank you.
Are these
It would be
vernal
really
pools
fun to
that,
get students involved in that, the schools involved. Don't you think that would be really fun to get them involved? I don't know how to
It would.
go about doing that, but that would be really fun.
That
Well,
could definitely
my-
be when I get the Okemos stuff going, that including the curriculum, that's definitely something that could be, encouraged to putting that in there.
Mhm. Yeah, if there's a pool that's close to the school, it's most of the monitoring can be done from the edge of the pool. You only need one person to actually wade into it to take a dip net and sample the whatever is in there. But it's always fascinating to take that dip net and to dump it into a white tray that you can see things swimming around and identify all the various little critters that are in there. Fingernail clams was one that I found in one of my pools, which is pretty interesting if you consider the fact that these pools dry up for a portion of the year. And yet they have things like, well, the fairy shrimp and fingernail clams, and those things have adapted to being in a dry state for a while. It's kind of cool.
Sounds like a vernal pool party.
Good work, Bruce. Thanks for bringing that up.
Sure.
I liked the reference to the messaging page mentioned about, how do you frame messages, and on a related topic is like, how do we help somebody, including ourselves, understand sort of the vast resources that are and the vast number of projects and possibilities that exist, because it can seem a little overwhelming. So I don't know the answer, but it seems like visuals, kind of regular outreach, kind of what we're talking about with our wetland outreach plan, could be helpful. But getting the momentum going and the resources to put that together, I'm not sure how we can work as a team to create sort of appropriate messaging and consistent messaging, especially when our communications department is overwhelmed with just making our website work properly. So anyway, if you've got any thoughts on that. But thanks everybody for tuning in. It's been a great conversation, and I learned a lot. Hope to, I'm sorry you had trouble tuning in, Kendra. I just saw your note, but I'll try and send out another link to folks, as well as the recording if you want to share it with anybody else.
Do you know if it's hard for people to get in while it's being recorded? I wonder if that is such a thing. I don't know. I don't know if it is, but maybe.
I don't think so. I know that I did not have an official meeting scheduled on Zoom, so that might have been part of it.
Oh, okay.
Even though it's the same link, it's my personal Zoom link, so it should have worked. I'm glad you all made it, but that might have been part of the problem. So
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
good to see everybody. Hope
Bye-bye.
to see you next week.